Okay, my name is John McNally. We're going to cover on how to adjust the McNally trigger. Okay, so as my dad just showed you, we've just installed the McNally trigger assembly into the pistol. Now we're going to basically put everything back together and do the check. First thing you do is push the recoil spring down into its seating position, which is that U groove in the barrel. Then you line up the frame rails with the slide rails and slide the slide on. Okay. First thing you check, as soon as you slide the slide on, first thing you check is see if there's a gap between the trigger safety and the frame. Notice here, this is the trigger safety. Notice how it gets out of the way. There's got to be a gap right here in that between the trigger safety and the frame. If there's a gap, that's a first step. Second step to make sure the thing's good to go is to pull the trigger, and if it drops, good. A little check I do. I push down on the back of the slide and pull the trigger, and if you got a good positive release, then you're good to go. Now, say if you wanted to adjust, I'll show you the set screws to adjust it. So we're going to take the slide back off, which is basically rotate the grip fingers to the top, rack the back, first click, reach over the slide lock, slide both sides down, hold, rock the slide forward. Put this off the side, again, set the spring. The trigger adjustment for the trigger safety, or for the gap, the front adjustment, again, this is called the extension of the trigger bar. Push forward on the extension of the trigger bar and push all the way forward, and you'll see the gap, say if the slide was on. See that gap there. Now, here's the adjustment right here. Is sitting right here, and I'll even put my tool into the adjustment screw. Now, looking at it from your direction, if you turn it clockwise, that'll tighten up the gap in the trigger. Turn it counterclockwise, it'll open it up. The adjustment for the trigger stop, now again, push forward on the extension and pull the trigger back, and then get the trigger to the rear. It is located, see if you can see this, right here. As a matter of fact, there's a silver set screw. We've made them silver. The very first ones were black and they were hard to find, but now they're chrome. Let's see if I can find that slot. Hard to do this when I'm not looking directly at it. There you go. Now there it is on this while it's in the slot. Now if you move the tool from the slide stop lever side to the other side, that tightens the trigger stop up. Now again, if you've gone too far and you want to back it off, you go from this side to this side. But to tighten it up is from this side to this side. Now, guys being guys, you're going to tighten that trigger to the point where it won't release. And I'm going to tighten this up a couple more turns. And you're going to adjust the trigger, say, "Ooh, that's just perfect." And then what's going to end up, you're going to say, "Well, if it's perfect, I'm going to go ahead and adjust it one more time, or a couple more times." And you'll end up like going, you'll put it on and you pull the trigger. And let me adjust this one more time. You pull the trigger until the trigger can't move at all. And then you go, "Well, shoot, what do I do now?" I'm going to move it one more time. There you go. So now I'm pulling the trigger back, but it won't go click. So what you got to do, so instead of calling me up, this is what you do. You lock the slide to the rear. Okay, look at the bottom of the this is called the firing pin. This is the firing pin. This is the firing pin lug. In between the lug and the slide, there's called a spacer sleeve. And you notice how I can put my tool in here and push down, and you see how I can it's under spring tension. Basically, that's your firing pin spring. So when you push forward on this, it unlocks the slide cover plate. So what we're going to do, push forward on this, and also on the slide, a little caution. See this little divot on the slide cover plate? You got to make sure your thumb covers that, or there's going to be a boing, and you're going to lose the EDP spring, it's extractor pressure plunger spring, and bearing. Okay, so we're going to push down, hold down, and then slide this forward. Okay, and I've made sure I've got my thumb there, and all you got to do is release the firing pin assembly. Now push the slide forward, and so now it says, since the firing pin's not in there, all you got to do is rack it back to that little first little click, push down, hold on, and you can release the slide, and then go back in here and adjust it back. So I'm going to adjust this back so that the firing pin will release when I pull the trigger. I'm going to come back a couple of adjustments, and I call these from one side to the other. I call that an adjustment, and so you just put it in there, and then I always stop it in the middle, and then we're going to put it right back in. Ooh, well, first we got to put the firing pin assembly back in. Put your firing pin assembly in. Start your slide cover plate, and what you do, just start it in the rails. A little bit of pressure. Take your tool, push down on your firing pin assembly, and then push down on your extractor pressure plunger assembly until it locks. Again, and now make sure you reset the spring. Line up the slide, the frame rails with the slide rails, and check it. Hope you know it works. There you go. That's it, guys.